Hello and welcome to episode 66 of Let's Run Facebook Ads, the podcast with myself, Nick Boddington. Today we're going to be looking into the new way you're going to be running ads, and Facebook has now called it the ODAX system. We ran across this a few episodes ago, but I'm going to go more in depth today and tell you why this is a good thing. So don't worry, it is all good. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome, episode 66, Let's Run Facebook Ads. I hope everyone's doing well. I do not have my microphone today. The sound quality might be a little different, but I've got some super duper new AirPods, but apparently they don't work great for for podcasts. There might be a bit of a delay. I hope not. I hope you still get everything from this. You should do, because a lot of my guests have the AirPods in. So what are we going to talk about today? It is ODAX, the new ODAX system by Facebook. You may or may not be seeing this on your ads managers. It's essentially when you go and build an ad, you're going to create on a campaign, you'll see a new interface. That's ODAX, and it stands for Outcome Driven Ad Experiences. Now, what I'm going to do on this video is I'm actually going to talk about it because you're on a podcast, but I'm also going to record my screen and it will go onto my YouTube channel, Nick Boddington. And no, it's not the Nick Boddington from Pop Idol about 10 years ago. I'm the other guy about 6 down. So I'm not the one standing on stage singing. I'm the other guy. So Nick Boddington, and then you go on there and you'll see all my other videos from these podcasts. Because every time I do a podcast, we do actually record it and stick it on there so you can watch them. So go to that YouTube channel and I'll show you what I'm doing on the screen. But I'm also going to talk about it so you can listen to it in your car or whatever. So let's get into it. Let me share my screen now. So I'm going to carry on talking. Right. So basically, when you go to create a new ad campaign, it comes up with the new ODAX system, Outcome Driven Ad Experiences. And you choose an outcome, choose an objective as you did before. Now, we used to have 11 objectives, which was the awareness, the reach, traffic, video views, the engagement, all that sort of stuff. And to be fair, it did get confusing for a lot of people who are starting to run Facebook ads, because it's wondering which one to use. Now, as you know, the thing that I always talk about on our videos is you always want to be using the conversion ad. So that's what I'm going to talk mainly about today, and how this is now changed and what I want you to do going forward. But let's go through them. So the first one I see up here is awareness. Now, awareness used to have reach underneath it. It doesn't anymore. Awareness now includes reach, okay? The reason Facebook is doing this is because everything that's been going on the platform, loads and loads of changes, and you're probably just like myself and my peers, other agency owners, experts in Facebook, etc. We've all been pulling our hair out, trying to figure out the best way to work with the system now to get us results we need, because we're finding it, they're taking loads of interests away. Lookalikes, do they work or do they not? Or if they do work, how do you get a lookalike to work better? The tracking, we're sending traffic through to websites for lead generation, for conversions on purchases, and Facebook saying one thing, the shop owner saying something different, Google saying something different. So we're all in the midst of this, but rest assured that the likes of Facebook and these other platforms who are all having this problem are trying to fix this. Only yesterday, I received an email from TikTok saying that they're introducing first-party cookies to their advertisers' websites to essentially get around the drop-off Google dropping off its cookies. It's the third party which is stopping us from seeing what's going on the pixel working as well as YouTube used to. So all these things are coming forward. So we just need to be patient and know that these massive multi-billion pound companies who need us as advertisers on the platform are trying to fix this out. So this is one of Facebook's changes now, and I'm going to sort of explain as we go along, especially on the conversion side, why I think this is really positive. So, it is good for us. So awareness, this is something that you can obviously use to get your product out there. There was awareness and reach, and video views is now included in awareness. Now, you know that I'm not a massive fan of these, because I believe that all the way through the funnel, we should be using conversions to bring the right people in. But that's not about that. This video is not about that. This video is about me talking about how to do that. So we'll talk about conversions another time and how we need to optimize our ads. Now, awareness, reach, brand awareness, and video views. So when you basically go to click on an ad and you go through to the awareness side, you've chosen your objective, you go through to the ad set, and this is where you start choosing how you want to do it. So from a video point of view, you will go to the ad and you'll pull in the fact that you want to watch a video, etc. But essentially, Facebook is going to be doing all three. So you'll be using a video, you'll be doing reach as well, but you're just generally trying to get your ad out there. So Facebook has just basically brought in reach and awareness. Those are the two most important parts here. They've been brought in to the same place. Okay. Now, if we go back into this list, we're then down to traffic. Now, traffic here is good for link clicks and landing page views. Now, it's good that they've actually brought that out and telling us what they're good for, because one of the things that we would do as a marketer would be, if we were running a traffic campaign, and you know my views on this, but if we are running a traffic campaign, on the ad set page, we would have to go to a small read more box, which allowed us to choose between landing page views and link clicks. Now, no one really knew about that. So if I go to open this window again, scroll down, we go down to the bottom, and in the optimization and delivery area, we have optimization for ad delivery. Now that has the choice between, do you want to deliver it for impressions, reach, link clicks, or landing page views? Now, why this is important is because from a landing page, from a link click point of view, traffic is essentially bringing people through to click on the link in the ad to go through to your website. Now, it used to be very, very effective. Now I'm going to see what it's like, because of what I've talked about for the last year on this podcast and how I've run my ads for the last 3 years, is that I wouldn't touch traffic with a barge pole. And the reason being is because there are lots of people who click ads, but not necessarily clicking ads for the reason that they're going to purchase from a website. Now, having loads of traffic to come into your website and saying and looking at your ads and say, oh my God, I'm only paying 4p for a link click to my website. That's great. But if that person who's clicked the link for 4p isn't going to take any action on your website, then there's pointless having that person come to your website, because what we're essentially trying to do is we're trying to sell our products or services. So what we want to do is bring traffic through that is going to be buying eventually, not whether it's straight away, probably not. After we've nurtured them through our funnel, we want those people to buy. So what I talk about in my agency and on these podcasts is that if we're going to bring in traffic, and don't get confused with me using traffic, this is where everyone goes wrong, because the whole industry is talking about traffic. Think of traffic as someone coming to your site. Your objectives and how you use Facebook to get that person to your site isn't based on traffic. That's where you have to use the objectives. And that's where we've always talked about conversion objective, because a conversion objective is looking at the audience of Facebook and letting Facebook bring through people at a higher cost, not 4p a link click, more like £1 a link click, to get them onto your website. But we want people on our website who are going to take action, because all we're going to do if we don't get that happening is we're going to be filling up our pixel information with people that aren't going to take action. They're not going to buy or use our service, and we don't want that. So this is all brand new. I'm going to see what this is going to be like by running some traffic campaigns to see if we get those traffic campaigns actually purchasing from our products or services on our website. But long way around to what I'm getting to is, I would always run a traffic campaign, but I would click landing page views. So when I go into the optimization and delivery, right at the bottom of the ad set page, I would click landing page views, which means that person, if I'm going to get a load of clicks, at least I want those clicks to be people who are going to go to my landing page, because there's a bit of a time difference between a click being on an ad to a landing page loading. Facebook knows this. So Facebook will choose people who are going to click an ad, but are going to wait until the landing page is loaded up for them to take in some of our content. So that's what I would say on this. So closing back that down again, it means that Facebook has actually brought this to our attention. So when we're choosing our objectives, Facebook is giving us a little bit of a good for link clicks. Now, moving down to engagement, good for messages, video views, and post engagement again. So the same thing happens here. Again, we've seen video views come up twice here, in awareness and engagement. Again, Facebook is using these particular objectives to either get people to see as much as your ad as possible, awareness, nice and cheaply, or engage your ads, likes, comments, and shares. Now, this one could be great because if you've got an ad going and you're wanting to get some social proof on that ad, you can use an engagement campaign to go in and get page likes, okay? So you can click on that, you go through to the ad set, and you can select your Facebook page and optimize it to get you page likes. Now, this is great because if you've got a great product or service and your ads are doing fine, but you want people to, you want a consumer to go on to see your ad and then click it and see how much social proof it's got. And what I mean by that, how many people have liked that ad, how many people have commented, how many people have shared it. Facebook will use that. So you don't have to spend a lot of money there, a couple of quid a day, and you can use the same ad that you're using and get some social proof. Right, app promotion. There's not loads of companies who do apps, so that we're not going to go into that one because I don't have many clients. It's not a specialism of our agency, so we're gonna move away from app. The most important ones here are leads and sales. This is where I want you to spend most of your time. Okay, if you're trying to get someone through to buy your product, then you wanting to be used. What we used to use was conversions, and then in conversions we'd optimize for a purchase. Now what we do is we go into the sales area. You can say here, good for conversions, catalog sales, which is when you pull in your product from Facebook. And as a catalog, you pull in, let's say you've got a Shopify site where all your e-com products are, and you're pulling that in for as a catalog. Then you can run things like DPA ads and catalog ads from here. So, and then we've got messages. So this is where I want you to go to run conversion ads. So we click sales, we go through to the ad creation. Let's go through to ad set. Now you'll see that by default, it starts on the website, which is absolutely fine. There's a new one here, which is Facebook donation. So if you're a charity or you're a company that works, an agency that works for charities, that's great because it will actually be a call to action for a donation on the advert. We've got app again. We've got website and app. So that means that Facebook will decide if you're trying to promote an app, it'll decide whether that user is a person who downloads apps or not. If they don't, then they will send that person to the website to find out more about you before they actually download the app. So Facebook is going to use its brain to figure that out. We've got Messenger and we've got WhatsApp. Now, from a website point of view, where this is quite cool from a shop. Now, a completely different episode that I need to do on a podcast, which is going to be about where I see the future of online shopping on Facebook, because Facebook with its tracking is finding it really hard once it sends someone away from Facebook in an ad to an e-commerce store. If they purchase, sometimes we don't see that information show up in Facebook. So they're using this modeled tracking and stats, which is not great. I'm not enjoying the process anyway. So let's have a look at the last objective, which is lead objective. And I'll explain the difference here. Now, what Facebook used to do is whether we were trying to get leads from Facebook, or we're trying to do lead generation on a website to get leads, or we're trying to get purchases on a website, we would always use the conversion campaign, and then we would choose what we want to do on the ad set page. Facebook has now split that up. So we have on our last objective here, we have leads. Leads is good for instant forms, messages, calls, and signups. Now, when you click on here, it enables you to build an ad, and the first area here is instant forms. Now, this is basically a Facebook form. So again, talking about the fact that Facebook is finding it hard when someone leaves the platform to send information back due to these third-party cookies, etc. in the iOS 14. Facebook wants to push even more the fact that it wants to create leads from you on Facebook. Now, we do this for a number of clients where we think it fits. At the same time, we are still sending people to landing pages to get them to fill in a form. And we've talked about in our podcasts why one's better than the other, because getting someone, when Facebook makes it really easy for someone to fill out a form, that person generally doesn't realize they filled out a form, and you aren't going to get as good a quality. Whereas when you're sending it away from Facebook to a landing page, and then they have to submit a form on the landing page, you're going to get better quality people because of the actions they've had to go through to submit their details. But Facebook knows that it needs to keep people on the platform. So they are, I predict, going to spend a lot more time trying to figure out how they can make that quality better. Now, there is one way that we are able to make that quality better is by asking questions. So you do get the option when creating a form to say, do you want quality or quantity? Now, quantity is going to be pre-filled based on their details on Facebook. Now, the problem here is I've been on Facebook for 15 years. Now, the reason I've changed my email address on Facebook is because I use Facebook as a business, et cetera, et cetera. But think about the amount of people who have set their Facebook up 10, 15 years ago, and they used a Hotmail account or a Yahoo account or something like that, which they might still have, but they never access it. Now, that's the problem there is because once you're doing lead gen using an instant form and it pre-fills that information in quicker to help the consumer out, and that consumer then submits it, a lot of the information is going to be wrong. You might get the name right, the chances are you're going to get the mobile wrong, and you're going to get their email address wrong. Now, that's for you to test out because it might be worth testing that way and testing a landing page. Alternatively, back on the instant form, you can choose quality over quantity, and that enables you to ask some questions, multiple choice questions, questions where the consumer has to actually fill it in and answer it themselves, and they have to do this before they can proceed. And there's also an option which means that the person, once they've put the information in, they have to read over that information again and double submit it. So it's kind of like a double opt-in. That's one way around it, but I do foresee that Facebook is going to spend a lot of time trying to get these things right. All these platforms are essentially sick and tired of advertisers moaning about how they can't see things properly, their purchases have dropped, all this stuff is going on, and these platforms need to get this back in. So I have a lot of trust and in the fact that they are going to sort this out. So the good thing about these two being split, which I think are the most important ones, well, from my point of view, absolutely the most important ones, which is leads and sales, is that what was happening beforehand, we would choose conversion, and Facebook's algorithm was just trying to find us a conversion, whether that's a lead conversion or there is a purchase conversion. So it was trying to do two things. You know, it's a very, very clever computer, and it was doing that job great. Where I think it's going to be even better now is the fact that when you choose a sales objective, Facebook is going to find you sales. When you choose the leads objective, Facebook is going to try and find new leads. So from an impressions point of view, from a link clicks point of view, it would be that beforehand it would say, okay, we need 100 link clicks to get a sale. Now it might be that, but that didn't matter if even if it was a lead, it would still be working on the same sort of mathematics. Whereas now it's going to know, it's going to have its predictions of how many impressions and how many link clicks it needs to get a sale using the sales objective, and the same again for the leads objective. So I actually see that this is really a really good thing to come forward to help our campaigns get better. Now, what do you need to do now? Well, when you go to create a campaign in your ads manager, you still may not see this new ODAX form objective selector. That's absolutely fine. You will see it soon. That it's going to be taking up to September to run these out through Facebook, because Facebook does this. Not everyone sees anything at the same time. It's not like they just press reset and everyone in the world who's an advertiser sees the changes. These things just develop in their own sort of time through countries, et cetera, et cetera. But if you are seeing this, what I want you to do is go have a look at your ads. If you've got ads that aren't doing very well, then by all means, I want you to change them up, rebuild them again using new objectives. And this way, what I foresee happening should make your ad work better. If you've got an ad that's working, don't touch it. You know what our rule says: if you've got something, if it's not broken, don't fix it. If it's working and it's bringing you results, leave it as it is. But if you've got some that just aren't pulling through, they've dropped off, rebuild them again using the new ODAX system, and let's see how they get on. I hope that helps. I hope that's a nice little short introduction to the ODAX. And remember, if you wanted to see me talking while showing you on my screen where these things are, because from listening to it, you're just still not getting it, go to my YouTube channel, which is Nick Boddington on YouTube, and check out the video, which will be labeled something to do with like the new ODAX objective delivering system, or the new ODAX. I haven't thought of my headline yet. Something, it's going to include ODAX, which is ODAX. Thanks for listening. I hope that helps, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.